Yeah, what's this about?
Wow. Here we go. Well, with Norwich and Brighton up next, a rotation-free squad because they haven't got any players other than their first team. I mean, their bench is pretty crazy. Great differential assets. Should we be considering the likes of Chris Wood, Dwight McNeil, Andy's favourite, the Burnley defenders? So FPL Meteor says the Burnley attackers a great 2-week punt. BNMC and Man United comeback say a Burnley attackers like Wood and Rodriguez worth considering. And Chris Winship says who are the best punts for the final game week of the season. I mean, I'll just kick us off because I think Burnley against Norwich is a match made in heaven. Norwich love to concede headed chances. And I mean, if you watch that Chelsea game, uh, you know, Chelsea won that game 1-0, but it could have been more if Chelsea had looked sharp, had been sharper, and well, if Giroud hadn't missed so many chances. But I mean, they were really struggling to deal with balls into the box throughout the game. And I can just see Burnley really targeting that and really punishing them because we know how good they are from set plays. So you've got your centre backs there who I mentioned, who I think are really strong options. But then you've got big old Chris Wood. Just, I mean, if he puts away half the chances that Giroud had, he's got a hat trick against Norwich. And I think he's a player who I've always wanted in my team. I've always liked him. He was at Brighton for a bit, and I thought he was great. And he's just never. I've never found a way to get him in because it's tricky with the strikers because you want a striker who's going to bang in a couple of goals or you think is going to bang in a couple of goals each week. And Chris Wood plays for Burnley and they're a very 1-0 based team. But I think against Brighton, and we are the definition of on the beach. I cannot understand what happens to Brighton at this stage of the season. Is it the third year in a row now? And if you include what you said, Joe, about the championship, we
just point out that
completely capitulate.
Just point out Brighton are geographically always on the beach. That's
very good, very good. That's probably why they do it. They're playing up to the name. But yeah, they just at this stage of the season, anyone playing Brighton is a great shout because we just completely forget how to play football. And I think Burnley are a great team to kind of exploit defensive mistakes and all that kind of thing. So I honestly do think Norwich and Brighton are two really good games for all of the Burnley players. So yeah, I'm really interested in Chris Wood. I'm probably going to be bringing him in this week for Calvert-Lewin. I could take a hit and bring in sort of Jimenez or someone else, but honestly, I think Chris Wood could do some real damage this week against Norwich. So I'm all for it. I also really like Dwight McNeil as well because someone's got to be putting in those balls into the box. And I'd be amazed if he didn't come away with at least an assist. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Joe, what do you reckon on Burnley? You were touting Chris Wood last week as well.
Yeah,
so
I was, and
just repeat that.
And he scored. He also missed from open play, but nevertheless, that's potentially two. But yeah, he did really well there. So yeah, I like Chris Wood. 1% ownership. And he was on the goals imminent table as well last week. Plus, Burnley have really great fixtures. Those down Norwich and Brighton, as you said. I was going to say he's not the only differential to consider. I think he's a really good differential to consider. And I do think Burnley are awash with them at the moment. And I'm really annoyed, but also obviously sad for Charlie Taylor being injured. But I did get him in for these fixtures because I thought I might get the odd assist. I might get the odd clean sheet from him. But I just want to mention, now this is going to be weird. I want to mention Solanke. And why am I mentioning Solanke? Because Bournemouth.
That's a good question. Why are you mentioning
Solanke? Because if you're going for an out of it, okay. So some people will go, "My God, what are you doing mentioning a Burnley striker?" Well, let's take it up a notch. Solanke. So Bournemouth are in scrapping mode, and against City, obviously they registered these 15 shots, which is almost double City's 8. Callum Wilson is another. So it's not just Solanke. I'm just talking about Bournemouth in general. Everyone's ignoring them. Everyone just thinking of them, oh, whipping boys. But I think they're now scrapping boys. And so let's have a look at the stats there. So last 2 game weeks, Solanke, 3 big chances in total, which is not bad considering he's 5.1. He's created 3 chances as well, and he scored a couple of goals, and he's peppering a goal in attempt in the box every 39 minutes, so that's not too bad. If you consider his price, I just mention him because he might be an interesting enabler if you wanted to get perhaps Salah or go for Kane or someone like that, and you need to free up some money as well. Obviously David Silva is still a great option if you're looking for punts for the rest of the season. 7.3, low ownership still. Armstrong at Southampton. If you haven't got Ings, Southampton's fixtures are good. Armstrong always looks good. He's like a real it's not necessarily the stats there, but it's the eye test, and he just always looks like he's going to score. I don't know where he's like a magic player. He's a magical player that's emerged in the Premier League, and I think I think he could go on from strength to strength. So that's why I'm mentioning these off the wall ones, because we're entering the final 2 game weeks of the season. So I think this is the time when very seriously we're talking about Chris Wood, and very seriously I'm talking about the likes of Solanke, Callum Wilson.
I can't believe you're talking about Solanke as a genuine option. Word!
I use that as a slight journalistic hook into talking about Bournemouth though. Because I think Bournemouth are scrapping at the moment. I think realistically, if you wanted an actual genuine Bournemouth player that is going to, if you did want a Bournemouth player that's going to score, Callum Wilson I think would be your man there. But Solanke is a good and interesting enabler. Even if you just say you're going 3-5-2 and you haven't got Greenwood, you just want to go down the level, get Solanke first sub. There you go, 5.1, and you can beef up your midfield, and you can get the likes of Salah in or Kane if you wanted. So that's why
I do not endorse this message.
You say this, but remember young Antonio. I was touting earlier in this lockdown editions of the Scoutcast, and of course David Silva as well, and Chris Woods.
How many did you bring in?
How much do I bring in? My job here is as a journalist to offer advice. Whether I can follow that own advice, my own team.
Did you really just compare David Silva to Solanke as well in some bizarre comparison?
No, I compared them as in differentials. You need to go for unusual differentials, and also there is obviously some journalistic license by saying Solanke, but I'm talking about Bournemouth in general, and these are the more unusual things. The unusual things can happen at this time of the season. And what can be more unusual than Solanke scoring a brace? And those who get him in as an enabler and end up with his points, I will welcome that drink that you'll be offering me. So anyway,
I actually think if I was looking for a Bournemouth player, I actually quite like Stanislas. Not that we should probably spend too long on Bournemouth, but Stanislas is an option too. As well.
Yeah, he's such a good player, Stanislas.
As well.
He's such a tidy player. I really like watching him play.
Yeah, no, I think these are really good options here. I mean, do we? I was going to say, do we want to talk about Burnley anymore?
Let me just give my piece on them really quickly. One thing I like about Chris Wood, and I know everyone in the chat loves a few stats, so let me reel some off for you. And if you don't like stats, I would highly recommend going to read Fabio's article on Fantasy Football Scout. Who has ranks of 95, 671, 1,145, and then a top 5k finish in the last 4. And he pretty much said, I don't look at the eye test, I just use expected goals and expected assists. That's paraphrasing a little bit, but I thought everyone in the chat who hates stats.
What a way to live your life.
Hey, I'd take the ranks any day. But anyway, I think Chris Wood is one of those players, every single season we talk about him, and no one gets him in. Like, he's 4th, I think it is, for big chances over all attackers for the whole season. So he's always in the right places, always getting good chances. And Norwich is decent, as you guys have said. The only thing I would say, and I sometimes think like this, would I be surprised if we all loaded up on Burnley and they did nothing? No, I probably wouldn't. So I wouldn't get these players in thinking they're absolute game changers for your whole season. But I don't know, maybe other people are in a different position, but I've got 2 free transfers, and I don't really have 2 that I need to do. So Burnley playing Norwich, and I'm even considering Brighton playing Newcastle, a kind of nice stopover. So I get one in just to use a transfer, and I still have 2 frees for the last week. So the other player I'm looking at is Trossard for Brighton. Now, I know you're saying they're on the beach, but they're playing Newcastle, who are arguably the worst defence since this all restarted. He's had 4 big chances since restart. That's the same as Aubameyang, same as Willian, 1 less than Bruno Fernandes. So he's getting into the right positions. When I saw him, I think he came on against Man United as a sub. He looked really good. And I think he's looked good since then.
The biggest problem is his minutes, because Potter's already rotating the squad. He's done it all season. It's been incredibly frustrating. Then you look at Man City, that was a game where we could have put up a decent fight, and he chose to rest Lamptey and a load of people. I don't know what he's doing at the moment, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Trossard miss.
He has started the last 3. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I guess we'll see later, because they're playing Southampton. If he starts again, That'd be 4 in a row. Would that then be a good thing? I don't know. But he's someone I'm looking at as well. So, yeah, I do like these players. I just think if you're getting them in thinking they're going to be absolute game changers for the rest of the season, probably not. But if you need like a stopgap, because the thing I'm finding, which I'll talk about when I do talk about my transfers, is there's players I want to get in, big hitters who are doing well, but I've got most of them already. So I don't really need to use those transfers for those sexy transfers, I suppose. I can go for the unsexy ones like Chris Wood. So, yeah, just backing up, I think Chris Wood's a great option, and Trossard maybe a more pay too.
Trossard is good. I mean, the thing with Trossard, if you get Trossard in, as a Trossard owner, I'm one of the few that has actually had him in for a period this season. And I only got rid of him because he got injured. But the thing about him is he's great. He looks great. He's an absolute pleasure to have in your FPL side. Even if he doesn't get you points, you look at him and go, oh, he could get me points. He's really good. He's like, I don't know. Maybe because he's Belgian, it's a very lazy comparison with Hazard. But there are certain similarities in he's an exciting player.
I love him. I think he's brilliant.
He's great. But if you,
I think he's going to have a big season next year.
But if you do get Trossard in, also I could say beat from experience here. If he is on the bench, don't cry about it, because that's just what happens if you're going to get a Brighton player in. Do not expect them to be absolutely nailed on. They may come on, they may get you points, but they could also be benched. So that's what you buy into. So it depends which type of FPL manager you are. I just wanted to move on to clean sheets and differentials.